Okay, so listen. First of all, we have a sponsor. The sponsor is Canadian Dice. There may be a representative or two on this very call right now that know a little bit about Canadian Dice.
Buy stuff so I can afford real glasses.
Does Jasmine have any kind of position at Canadian Dice? Like,
I've had her be a dice gopher before, but she doesn't really do that very often. Where I get to sit in my chair and be like, "Could you get me a set of these and a set of these?" And that's happened like once. That's about it.
I've been in photos too.
yeah,
Yes,
you
she's taking
a
photos
hand
for
model?
A pin and necklace model.
Oh, okay.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Das is true. Yeah.
Well, anyways, listen. If you go over to CanadianDice.ca right now, and you're like, "I've just got a new girlfriend, and she's a role player too, and I would love to buy her a set of dice." You could go to CanadianDice.ca, you could buy her a set of dice, use the code OMRD, and get 15% off. 15!
Subtle, Jer.
15%!
It's a very specific situation.
I'm just saying that if that was the case, we have your answer.
Yeah, you know, because it's not like almost Black Friday or something, like more general.
You see?
That you could buy things for.
Yeah, but...
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, Black Friday. Are there Black Friday sales coming? Canadian Dice?
Yeah, I'll do something. I don't know yet. Watch Instagram.
Will our discounts stack? Can we do OMRD plus Black Friday?
Probably not. That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, usually.
Well, then I don't want them.
Oh,
that's fine.
I do feel like you've been a little cheated there, but oh well.
I feel like I'm generous. I'm generous year round.
Not that new people we met would cheat on us. I'm just saying you sound like you got cheated there.
Artemis. I'm sorry.
This is gonna be the theme all night, isn't it?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
All right. It's fine.
You're ready. It's fine. You can. It's yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Other than that, I don't think we have anything to announce. Do we?
Really?
That was a very pregnant pause.
We got Humblewood on Tuesdays.
Humblewood on Tuesdays. Vaesen. This might be our last session of Vaesen. We're going to see. Who knows what will happen. And
do
then...
nothing but roleplay. Draw it out.
Okay. What do you think I'm doing right now? I'm just pushing the start time back further and further and further.
What we need to do is find some hot new NPC that we can flirt with and start a new relationship with, like, right away. So that can be the spotlight of the game.
I like that.
Only if they don't take sugar in their coffee.
Maybe Liesel or Lisa. Liesel. Maybe Liesel could find a new friend to start something with. That'd be super.
It was just coffee, you guys.
This is not getting old. It's already not getting old.
This is why you don't tell us.
Nope.
Oh no.
Nope. Okay, you know what? I feel like I need to tell a story here very quickly. So, my first date with my wife.
Thank you.
We were just like teenagers, young love. It was ridiculous. So I took her out to McDonald's.
Oh, you stud.
Just for the record, I was only 13. So I get up and to order, and this I already made an error by ordering first. I should let her order first. But then I ordered like a Big Mac combo or something like that. And then I turned to her and go, "What would you like?" And she goes, "Just a small fry." I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Just a small fry." And I felt like a pig. That's my story.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, fuck you
I
guys.
took Jasmine out for tacos on our first
Good
date.
story, Jeremy. Tell it again.
Just a small fry. Who eats just a small fry? Order a combo.
Some people just want fries, man.
I think Jasmine
man.
only got like one taco on our first date, and I felt the same way.
I don't know. Sometimes you're so nervous that your stomach won't let you eat. So.
Yeah, I was really nervous.
Why? Look at me.
But you didn't always look like that.
Rick has never taken a date to McDonald's. Thanks for declaring that, Rick. I was 13.
Wow.
That's pretty good for 13.
It wasn't like we could go out for coffee.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you could have, but
I mean,
Okay. Well, yeah. She didn't like coffee either. Anyway, let's.
so that's the secret. That's your dating advice. Take your first date to.
No, it's
a
not my
fast food
dating
restaurant,
advice, but
order
my
the
dating advice
biggest-
is
the
like
biggest
let them
steak.
order first, and if they go really small, then you can go small too.
Well, you should have just said, "Hey, you wanted fries? I got a combo. Why don't we share my fries?"
Because he wanted all of his fries.
Putting it out there. I mean,
Yeah. Well, you weren't there.
He's like, I'm
Thanks
not
a lot.
sure.
right.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. I probably wasn't even born yet, to be honest. So.
You probably weren't, you asshole.
Savage.
Let me think here. It would have been 1987.
I wasn't even born
Oh.
yet.
No, 88.
wasn't
It was
even-
88.
No way.
that wasn't even a
Okay.
concept.
No.
Was your dad born? Was your mom born? Am I even in the
course.
ballpark? Okay.
Yes.
I feel like people may die tonight.
You're not that
I-
old. I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
I was 8. Don't kill me.
So last time on Vaesen, you guys traveled out to Wrecker Island to meet the Herring Baron, which sounds like a great Batman villain. There is and you were traveling with a young priest named Oscar, who had called upon the society, and that's who you guys are, to investigate the death of another priest, his sort of mentor, and he explained to you that it was a suspected suicide, but he knows that the good vicar would not have done that to himself, but he had rubbed the inhabitants of this island the wrong way. And the inhabitants of this island are a family, an old woman by the name, everybody just calls her Godmother, but her name is Godmother Abella. And Godmother Abella has 4 sons: Paul, Pete, and Pace. And then finally, the 4th son, Zacharias. Paul is currently missing from the island. Pete and Pace are sort of these Tweedledee Tweedledum thugs. And Zacharias is the Herring Baron. And you guys, investigated his home. You investigated the inn on the island. And just to remind everybody, there are only 3 buildings on the island: the home of the family, the inn, where the sailors stay, and then the saltery. You investigated the saltery last time, and I think we ended after you found some blood in there. And you had been invited to have dinner with Zacharias that night. So how would you guys like to start this? Is there something impending that you wanted your characters to do, or shall we just skip to dinner that evening with Zacharias? What would you guys like to do?
I have an impending question.
Okay.
Where do the people that live on this island stay? If there's only 3 buildings.
So the only people that actually live on the island is the Godmother and her
the family?
children.
Wow, so it's like a private island.
Wrecker Island is their island.
Damn.
The sailors and fishermen that stop here, they either stay at the inn or they stay on their boats. But this is just off the coast of Sweden, and I can tell you that in the winter, sleeping on a boat, a cold ship, is probably not all that comfortable. So the inn charges ridiculous prices for people to stay there, but everybody seems to be getting, all these sailors and fishermen seem to be getting getting paid so well for the herring that they don't argue with it.
Okay.
Can you remind me about the blood stain and stuff I found in the salt?
Yeah, so
Saltery?
in the saltery towards the back, there were some empty barrels, and over by those empty barrels, there was a chain with a crucifix on it. Now, I believe that Diedrich pocketed that, or was it Dick that pocketed that.
I have it in my pocket.
So Dick pocketed the crucifix, and I don't think has told anybody about that, but also noticed that on the floor there was a stain. Not recent. It's been there for a little while, maybe a few weeks. But you did make some checks and identified it. You're pretty sure it's blood. And while you were doing that, Pete and Pace were spying on you from just outside the saltery. They could see you.
Right. Is there somebody did it last time? There's a way to see if you can see any Vaesen or anything like that, or is that just a character specific thing to somebody else? Is that something I can do as well, or no?
If you want, you can just give me a vigilance check.
Okay.
Which is sort of your way of, being alert and on guard, and yeah. Now, is this? Are you looking around the saltery itself?
No, in the specific area where the blood stain and the.
Okay, then I'll tell you what. You can either you can either give me a vigilance or observation.
I'm probably gonna go observation. That goes off empty. They're both the same. Oh, except for vigilance goes off logic, so I'll do that. Wow. Not great.
You don't see any sign of anything that would sort of make you say Vaesen.
Okay.
That reminded me that we talked about this last time, but I wanted to, I think, go to the ship that we came in on and perform a seance.
Oh, that's
to
right.
See if we
Oh,
can
yeah.
reach,
And someone mentioned that now that you have the gun,
right.
which you believe also belonged to the vicar, you can certainly go and try to do that if you'd like.
Yeah, and then we kind of can rest a little bit, right? Because some of us have conditions.
Okay. So I think I healed Dick, and he needs to rest for a bit. I'm not sure what was fun there, but okay.
I think what we said was that with some rest, then with rest and medical care, Dick could heal some of the conditions that Is that what you're going to do?
Sure. Is anyone else physically wounded? Like the doctor to look at them?
I'm exhausted, but I think that's it.
Does that count as something I can fix? Because it's physical?
As long as it's a physical condition, you can use medicine. If you guys would like to fix a mental condition, then you use inspiration. And it does require sort of the opportunity to be out of harm's way and a little bit of food and drink.
So can I use my medical equipment and try to fix up our exhausted friend?
Yes. Yeah. So are you going to do that back? Are we going back to the boat?
Yeah, I figured I'll do it somewhere.
So you make your way back to the boat, and it's still moored, docked where it was. Oscar greets you as you come aboard. He doesn't come right out and ask. You notice that he's using restraint on himself, but you can tell he's curious about if you've he's just dying to ask you if you've found any incriminating information. So you make your way on to the ship and down into the crowded quarters beneath, where you had made your ride over. What would you like to do?
I want to go to an empty cabin and pull out. Well, I want to close all those shutters, even though I know it's probably dark outside by now. And sit on the floor, cross-legged, and pull out my crystal ball.
All right.
And put the gun down in front of me.
Yep.
And try and.
And you're gonna try to reach out to.
Spirits.
Yeah, you're gonna try to reach out to Carl, the vicar, Carl Eric.
Carl Eric.
I'm just gonna make this medicine. I'm just gonna make a medicine roll now. If that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead and make the medicine check as you sit Dick down and sort of calm,
Oh,
calm
well.
his nerves.
Did get a success. I don't think it was Dick. It was because I'd already done the roll for Dick.
It was Dana.
Oh, Dana. Okay. Well, Dana.
So I guess
Dana's alone. You can't help, but you. Like if you won't be able to help Dana because she's doing her séance, and I would assume that this time will eat up what's left before you're to meet with the Baron.
fine. I'll just rub Dick.
Okay, you give Dick a good massage, assuming Dick's okay with that.
Give him a nice little pat on the head.
And I'd like to give Morris some fish head.
Okay, the dog. Okay.
Yeah.
So
is
do you
my
give any kinds of
exhaustion not
Dana? Do you give any kind of instructions as you go into this room alone?
fit? Like to the
Oh,
rest of the party?
Yeah.
This is a solo seance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I shall be needing at least an hour of alone time to try and communicate with the vicar's spirit, if that is possible. Preferably something quiet and dark, where I may be alone for a little bit. So please make sure that nobody disturbs me for a best result.
When Oscar hears that you're going to try to commune with spirits, he clutches his pearls, so to speak. He's like grabs hold of his crucifix. He's like, "You're going to what? What sort of witchcraft
don't worry
is this?"
about it, darling. It's not witchcraft. I think it'll give us some answers, though. If it makes you uncomfortable, you can wait above deck. That's okay.
Roll me a give me a manipulation for that, Dana.
Okay.
We'll just see how this lands on the good Oscar, Reverend Oscar. Oh,
Ooh.
I'm gonna say it's almost an eerie, like you spook him. And he doesn't say anything because he's always trying to look stronger than he is, and he just makes his way back up onto the deck of the ship. Watching you the whole time as he leaves, though. He never turns his back on you.
Oh, he's scared of me. Good.
Okay. So let's have a seance here. So
Yeah, let's.
You get your crystal ball out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any ideas how you'd want this to look, or at least come across as Dana prepares?
Well, I think once I know that, like, if I can lock the door, I'll do that.
Yes.
I think
It's.
once
I will
know
tell
that
you,
I'm, like,
it's not a great lock. It's sort of like just a piece of metal, like a little metal hook that goes over a ring beside the door.
Okay.
But it's a latch.
And when I'm in there, I kind of just want to, like, close my eyes for a second, take a deep breath, and I want to drop my human guys,
Okay.
and take my real form and then sit cross-legged on the floor and just kind of start meditating and trying to feel like the energy in the air and like the change of air pressure and stuff that lets me know that there's some spirits around.
Okay. So
Crossing the netherworld.
we're gonna make an observation check, but you do need to use, if you're using your crystal ball, you get an extra dice. So there should be a button beside crystal ball that says use, or you can just make sure that when you roll, when it asks you for a modifier, put in 1.
Okay. Yep. Success.
So you reach out, and you feel, like you said, you sort of very sensitive to air pressure changes and things like that in the room. And in your crystal ball, you feel there's a presence there. You think you've contacted him. So with 1 success, I'll allow you to ask him 1 question.
Shoot. Okay.
Is this really the spirit of? Oh,
Yeah. How are you doing?
Are you here? Yes. Oh shit.
Can you hear me? I say, who was it that murdered you? That's the question I want to ask.
Okay. So you ask who murdered him. Let me think. He says to you, beneath the new moon, I turned my gun on myself.
Okay, well, I guess I can't ask him anything else, so. There's that new moon witchery again.
And the new moon is tomorrow night.
I remember that. Okay. I release him back into the ether.
And you do, I will tell you this. That question would be answered truthfully. There's no.
Yeah.
So you get the impression
I got
that he did indeed kill himself, and he
Okay.
just added beneath a new moon.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and I'll put my human guys back on as well. It's
Okay.
easier to talk to spirits without it. So.
And so Dana's in the room for a while. The doctor is ministering to Dick's wounds. I don't know if that's the motion, doctor, but thank you. What about our other two, Diedrich and Liesel? What are the two of you doing while this is happening? You don't hear anything coming from the room Dana's in, and you're watching the doctor. Maybe put some antiseptic on Dick, or I don't know what. How did Dick get injured? I'm trying to remember.
Bad rolls.
I think running up the chimney. I think to get away from the guy.
Okay.
I think it was.
Okay. So how about Diedrich and Liza? What are the two of you doing? You watch as Oscar goes up on deck because he just can't be a part of whatever Dana intends to do.
I mean, Diedrich honestly would have just been standing guard outside, like making sure nobody would interfere with what's going on,
Okay.
and just keeping an eye out
Are you
for anything
below
odd.
deck or up on the deck of the ship?
So she went below, right, to do the seance?
Yes.
I mean, he would have probably checked below first, and then also eventually go up, just to make sure there's no suspicious activity or
Sounds good.
anything like that.
Do you want to give me a vigilance check, please?
Sure.
How about Liza? Liesel. What's Liesel doing?
I think Lisa would be up on deck, probably taking pictures of the dock area.
Okay.
Since the boat is still there.
Yep. So you're grabbing some photographs, and
Yeah, she's just trying to document everything.
why don't you give me a vigilance check then as well? Okay. So, Diedrich, you notice that the brothers, Peter and Pace, they don't come down onto the dock, but you can see them. They're not far from where the dock meets the shore, and they're watching. Like they've been tailing you since you left the inn.
Yes, Dick, I promise it works best if I apply it to the inner thighs. I'm a doctor, for God's sake. Sorry.
And you also notice, this doesn't require a vigilance check. You both notice this, but Oscar, when he comes up, he sort of paces the deck for a little while, and then he finally just steps off and starts to head down the dock.
All right.
You have a hunch he's headed for the inn again.
Quick question.
Yes.
Is the excuse me. The blood stain I saw in the saltery, you say that was bludgeoning or that was a gunshot? I thought
No, it did not appear to be a gunshot. You thought it was like maybe from, someone was stabbed maybe or struck with a blunt instrument.
Yep, that answers the question. Thank you.
So Oscar makes his way to the end of the dock and suddenly turns and pauses for a moment, maybe remembering the words that you guys said to leave poor Justina alone. And instead, he begins to climb atop a small clump of barrels at the end of the dock. And he then begins to deliver a sermon of fire and brimstone, painting the inn as the devil's temple on earth, and the herring baron as the evil one himself. And some stay and listen. And Diedrich, with your vigilance roll, you notice that it's enough of a distraction that Peter and Pace are now sort of watching Oscar as he stands there, essentially berating people about how they're living their lives.
Oh, good.
Do you just watch?
Yeah, I don't think Diedrich would really do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he would probably think to himself if he was down there, he'd be booing the guy, but he's got a job to do, so he'll stick to the job.
Okay. All right. So you stay on the ship. How about does Liesel change anything? Like, you're taking pictures. Maybe.
Yeah.
If you'd like, you can certainly snap pictures of what's going on at the end of the dock as well.
Yeah, probably. She'd probably take pictures of that, and like, if she notices that the twins are there, she'd take pictures of them.
Okay.
Like, make sure that she got them like in frame.
All right. So while the sermon is continuing outside, down in the hull of the boat, Dick, I'm sorry, what's the dog's name?
Morris.
Morris seems really agitated and keeps going to the door where Dana went, sniffing along the bottom of the door frame, maybe even growling a little bit.
Can I hear talking inside? Like, is she still mid-seance or is she done now?
Dana, what do you think? We're halfway through. You've maybe just made contact. With the exception of the question, is there any other talking or chanting that happens during your seance?
There's probably a little bit of just like low mumbly chanting.
Yeah.
Probably just like very quiet, just to get it started.
So you can hear something going on in there, but it's unclear what exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna run over and pick up Morris and tell him to shut up because I'm scared that there's Vaesen around then.
Okay. The doctor has treated whatever wounds you need that need to be treated, and you can sort of, the two of you maybe down in the hole now can sort of, the sermon is progressing outside quite loudly, and the two of you can hear as Oscar lays into the people for their horrible lifestyles.
I'm sure they're not, like, it's not going over well because they're living via that.
Well, a few of the sailors have stopped and are listening. Do you want to?
He's probably not making any friends out there. We should probably go.
Unlikely. So, you're going up on deck? Is that what you said?
I'll go if Dick would like to come with me.
I'm gonna dust myself and Morris off first to make sure there's no dirt from the chimney left on us.
Okay. As you come up on deck, the four of you, because Dana's still in the hold, the four of you see Oscar get struck by a bottle that flies out of someone's hand. He quickly grabs his forehead, and then, he's like, You see the kind of behavior that I'm talking about? And then he's jumped by about 4 sailors, knocking him off the barrels, and they begin to give him an old-fashioned beatdown at the end of the dock. There are boots stomping, and there are fists swinging.
Careful, make sure the dog doesn't get kicked.
I'm still holding my dog.
I really wanted you to say, "You kick my dog again?" Didn't happen.
No, nobody kicks the dog.
That was my highlight last time.
Okay. So no one approaches, though, correct?
Diedrich's gonna look to the doctor for direction on what to do.
Okay.
Maybe we could diffuse this. I'm not gonna physically get involved because that's not my jam.
Okay.
That's my job.
I'd like to see if I can calm the situation down, I guess, before he's murdered.
Okay, so you start moving down the docks, and just as you get almost to the end of the dock, these men pick him up and sort of carry him your way down the dock, and you believe they're about to pitch him into the water.
That's hilarious. Please stop. Gentlemen, please put him down.
Are you making a real effort, or are you just... Yeah? Okay.
We'll see how it goes.
Sure.
I'll back him up with a glower.
Okay.
Just standing, just like...
Give me a manipulation check, Doctor. And I'll let you add 1 dice for having Diedrich looking over your shoulder glowering.
Okay. Manipulation +1. Okay. 1.
Okay, so you're like, ah! And they're just about to pitch him in, and they just kind of drop him on the deck.
Gentlemen, I believe he's had enough.
Someone gives him a final kick.
Well, that was unnecessary, but I understand.
And then they make their then they leave him there. He is very beat up.
Oh, Jesus, let me get him onto the boat. I'm going to take him, or if maybe Diedrich can help me carry him, because I probably can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just lift him up and...
All right. The two of you carry him back to the boat. And I'm going to say that Dana is just finishing at this point. As they bring Oscar downstairs.
How do you think the sermon went?
He says nothing to you. You can tell he's horribly embarrassed and really beat up. So he just doesn't say anything.
A little too far that time.
You lie him down on a bed or something?
Yeah, he needs to learn how to read the room.
Yeah, read the doc.
Read the doc. Doc.
Could I give him the medical equipment here?
Yeah, do you want to do that?
Patch him up? Yes, please.
Okay, let's do that. Let's make a medicine check, and if you're using your medical equipment, is it a +2 modifier or +1 modifier?
+2. I have a success out of 9 dice.
Well, listen.
Roll20 hates us.
They did some serious damage, and you're like, he's gonna need time. I'll say he's even maybe got a broken wrist, and there's very little you can do with that.
I prescribe bed rest.
All right.
And maybe a little bit of the fever.
The captain asks if we're leaving. Is your business done on Wrecker Island?
No, sir, not yet. We have a little bit more business to attend to, so make yourself comfortable for a while.
He shrugs and looks at the beat up Oscar, knowing that Oscar's footing the bill for this. Yeah, and you head for dinner?
Yeah, before we go though, I want to just kind of group everybody together briefly and tell them that I made contact with Carl and that I asked him who murdered him, and he said that he killed himself under the new moon. So something is afoot with the moon.
Okay.
A few times now that it's been mentioned.
I think we should ask some questions at dinner.
Sure. And keep a wary eye for sure.
Can Dick describe to us already what he saw inside the house, right?
I think so. I think Dick gave you an idea that there was some interesting art in the room.
Right.
Inside
That
the
was-
Baron's bedroom.
Bedroom.
And did you mention? I can't remember if Dick mentioned the smell of the
Yes.
rotting seaweed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I told them about the smell and that there was like small crustaceans or whatever inside of the chimney as well.
Yeah. Okay. So you arrive for dinner. The door is answered by Zacharias' housemaid. Her name is Laura. She welcomes you very, very friendly. Offers to take coats and things like that. Hangs up things inside the front door, and then shows everyone down and into the dining room. There is a place set for each of you, as well as Zacharias, the godmother, and Peter and Pace.
Oh, good.
She asks you to make yourself comfortable. The Baron took the liberty of some wine, and she points to the table that there's 2 bottles of wine, and one of them is open and breathing a little bit. There's a fire burning in the fireplace, and to make yourselves comfortable, have a drink, and the family will be with you in a moment.
The wine's not made of herring, is it?
It is not herring wine, no.
Good.
Can Diedrich would like to look at the bottle as if he's just trying to read the label, kind of give it a sniff, but he's actually seeing if he can pick up anything.
Oh, I like that. Okay, give me a vigilance check. You're thinking in case they've drugged the wine or something like that. Okay, yes, okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
He wants to put the air of he's trying to make sure it is an appropriate vintage for the doctor.
Is he willing to take a sip? Like a small sip just to test? I'll give you a 2 dice bonus if you do.
That is literally your job.
That's his job. So yeah, he would taste it.
Okay, so
to be sure.
Give me vigilance, and at plus 2 dice when it asks you if there's a bonus.
I'm pretty sure Poison Tester was on the application form. Check the box.
I am willing to put my life down for you. Apparently.
Diedrich, you have a little sip and you have a sniff. First of all, you recognize, from being around families with money, this is a good bottle of wine. It must have been brought in from the mainland. 2, you don't believe that there's any sort of drugging or poisoning happening here.
Okay, knowing that he would pour the glass.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
For the doctor, if he wanted to. He would give kind of an indication, it seems to be alright and acceptable. Thank you.
A little fishy. No. Will this be finer than the fine wine I have, or is it?
No, the bottle of wine you have is much nicer.
Swill.
As you do that, the family comes in. The godmother, the 2 boys, and everybody has, Everybody has a dopey grin on their face. And then Zacharias comes in, dressed very nice compared to... His mother has changed. She's not wearing that yucky apron. But to be honest, her clothes are not real... Like, Zacharias dresses like a man with money. The rest of the family has money, but does certainly not dress that way. So they all come in and they sit down. Zacharias says, "Thank you so much for joining me, friends. You've met my mother and brothers already, I assume?"
We have, yes.
What? I can't remember what happened. Wasn't I like wildly accusing him of murdering people in the street?
You?
Yeah.
I don't think any accusations were made against Zacharias.
No. Yeah. Okay, fine. If you don't remember it, maybe I'm not remembering it right. I didn't do that.
Okay. Do you tell? If you remember it right, you tell me.
I'm pretty sure I wildly accused him of murdering the guy in the street when we first met him.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Even with that, I feel like he greets you pleasantly.
Okay, so as he said, I like swish the wine around my mouth and I spit it back into the cup and put it down.
Oh. Not to your liking, Doctor.
Oh, not my favorite vintage.
I'm cleaning up the mess.
I
didn't sit down. I'm standing behind the doctor, by the way.
He says to you, 100 apologies.
Here, try this. And I pull a bottle of wine out of my pants, I guess.
Or your jacket?
Yeah. I don't know. I'll pour him a glass of the good stuff.
Okay.
So maybe, I don't know if I need to make a roll against...
No, he comes over and takes that glass from you. As he does so, you notice that he is incredibly perfumed. Like it's like I'm sure we've all been around a person wearing too much perfume or too much cologne, and that's sort of the way Zacharias is as he comes over to you, and he takes a sip of your wine and he says, "Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely."
Is that did he not have that smell when we first met him outside?
You were outside, so I didn't mention it.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome, Raiders. We're just playing some Vaesen. A little investigating going on.
Ooh, a little heavy on the color.
So you make note of coughing and...
I'm actually coughing for real, but
Fantastic. So you do, you do that, and he is very turned off by that. He turns his attention. He turns his attention to the rest of you.
Is it like a musky smell? Is it like a burnt?
No, it's
like
very sweet.
cologne,
It's
green?
very sweet.
He's covering something.
Very, very
Probably
sweet.
the stench of seaweed.
Yes, I'm guessing.
So as the doctor coughs on the smell of the perfume, he looks to the rest of you. He's like, "Please sit down."
No,
I will.
I will stand.
Oh, my mistake. I didn't realize you were in the employment of the doctor.
Your mistake indeed.
He nods, and assuming everyone else takes their seat, he takes their seat, and the housemaid begins to bring in dishes of herring, of course.
What else would it be?
Exactly.
What style of herring, Jeremy? Tell us the dishes, please.
I think maybe they start off with a little bit of smoked herring on sort of like biscuits or cracker type things.
Paint me a word picture of this herring.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever eaten herring? Have you ever eaten herring? It is the best looking herring you've ever seen. It's been very well prepared. It's clear that the maid here has cooked this many, 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 many times. And there's a little bit of, special presentation. Like, there's guests. Peter and Pace immediately begin to chow into the food. Not using utensils. Just very,
Great.
fingers and grabby, and lots goes in the mouth. And the godmother uses utensils, but still not very dainty at all. And she's paying really no attention to any of you. So Zacharias sits down and says, you had some questions for me about the dear Reverend.
Can I feed Morris
Yes.
under the table so I don't have to eat this fish?
Absolutely. He's slipping food off the table into the dog?
They have a problem with the dog in the house?
They don't seem to.
Okay. Is Morris just under the table, Dick?
Yeah, I let him out from my coat and put him under the table, so he's hanging out down there.
Okay.
I'll feed the dog under the table.
So he says, you accused me previously of somehow harming the vicar. I agree. I admit that we didn't have a very strong relationship. The vicar was very much against our way of life here on Wrecker Island. As I understand, the new Reverend feels the same. After I've been told there was a bit of a misunderstanding down at the docks. Whatever the case, I promise you, I did not hurt or have anything to do with harming your vicar.
Can I
Does that
observe
sort
him
of
as he's
thing
saying that?
Yeah,
happen
absolutely.
often?
Sorry, what was that, Kayla? What does your character say? What's Deanna say?
Does that sort of thing happen often?
Well, the holy men never approve of the life of sailors. It's a little rough around the edges. So coming here and preaching against them, you can well imagine how that can set a man or woman of that lifestyle off. Diedrich, do you want to roll me an observation?
Yeah, I did. I failed.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's nothing about him that you think would imply a lie, or he doesn't. He seems to be being very friendly and very forward.
so since we're on the topic, I've been very curious. What are some of your beliefs? I mean, I've noticed that your good mother wears a crucifix around her neck, so obviously you are people of God. But it seems to not quite fall in line with what the vicar expects, and I'm just curious as to why.
Zacharias says, "Oh yes, my mother. Old ways." And he looks down the table at her, and she sort of frowns at him. Maybe this conversation has happened before. He's like, I'm more of a skeptic. Not really much of a religious person.
Do you and your people follow the lunar cycle at all?
The lunar cycle? You mean the moon?
Of course. That is what lunar means, after all.
Yes, I suppose it does. Well, I mean, any good fisherman will tell you that, certain moons, better time for catching fish.
Mm-hmm. What is the new moon best for, would you say?
Murder?
Doctor.
Subtle. So subtle.
At that, Abella, the godmother, she looks at Dana and she's like, maybe you just need to mind your own business.
Well, I can't really do that when all of these things that are happening to us presently seem to be coming back to talks of the new moon. And your good son here did say that he would answer some questions for us, so I'm simply just asking. I don't see the harm in that.
Zacharias says, the new moon is simply referred to as a bad omen among sailors.
And why is that?
I can't say, Mother, do you know? He looks down the table at her, and she just growls and goes back to stuffing her face.
So then, if you'd be so kind as to give me further explanation, what is it that you folk believe here on this island, as far as spiritual beliefs? There must be something that connects you to the other, we'll say.
Well, I'm a businessman. I hate to say it, but money does wonderful things for guiding my principles and beliefs. Mother's a good Christian woman, though. Aren't you, Mother? And she just smiles. And, well, Peter and Pace, my brothers, what say you? And they, look up from their food like they have been oblivious to everything going on at the table as they've been dining. Oh. Well, yeah. I suppose. Christian, church, all that.
Do you have a church on this island?
Zacharias is like, no. We have the Saltery, our home, and the inn. Although when we go to the mainland, Mother attends church on Sundays. So do the boys.
So you do go to the mainland then?
Occasionally.
How often do you make those journeys?
What would you say, Mother? Maybe once a month? For example, this wine comes from the mainland. And then he points to a few other things on the table. He's like, hey, we can't rely on the sailors for everything here.
Of course. Would you say you go to the mainland once a month around the same time of the month?
Is this a moon question again?
Is he asking me that?
Yes.
Well, I'm not sure what you're implying, sir. I'm just wondering how much of a schedule you like to keep, since you're, such a savvy businessman and all.
No, I don't suppose I go during a specific time. Just when things are needed.
Okay, well that makes sense. We appreciate the hospitality, by the way.
Well, I would be a horrible baron were I not to dine with my guests. Tell me a little bit about yourselves, though. Where are you from?
No.
I mean, the good doctor has made it clear his opinions and his thoughts of everything here. But really, I mean, I promise you, there's no foul doing. Maybe if you'd, be so kind as to enlighten us on where you're all from. You seem like a very strange group of friends, group of travelers.
Well, if you can't tell from my accent, I'm clearly from Germany.
I had wondered such. And how is Germany?
Oh, I've been there once, so I'm pretty much an expert on it. What would you like to know?
He's like, I'll take anything, Doctor.
Well, it's the late 1800s. I'm sure we have a bright future ahead of us.
Yeah. Getting along splendidly with with our neighbors, and
yeah,
they're accepting of new cultures. Wonderful.
Everything's fantastic.
Oh fuck.
Maybe move to someone else.
He's like, he looks at Dick and he gives Dick a good look over. That sounds awkward. And then says, what about you, my little friend? What bring... I was told by my brothers you don't sound like you're Swedish or Norwegian.
I'm from England, sir.
As your shrill voice hits his ears, he shudders a little bit. Oh, it's a very high voice.
It's Cockney, sir.
And what does a boy from how does a boy from Cockney end up here?
Oh, me and Morris want to start a new life.
He looks around like, cannot possibly think who Morris in the room is, and then realizes, oh, there's a dog here.
All this accent work you've been doing, Jasmine, is really paying off.
He's like, oh, the dog.
Yeah, Morris. And then he steps out from behind, like, underneath the table.
Morris does?
Yeah, he
Yes.
just kind of looks out when he hears his name.
And growls at the Baron.
Yeah, that guy's scum.
He's like, oh, a friendly little creature, isn't he?
Now, come on, Morris, be nice.
He looks down the table at Liesel and says, and you? Earth to Liesel? Earth to Liesel?
Sorry.
That's okay. Oh, we know what you're doing.
No, that's not what I'm doing. I was actually reading about Germany in the 1800s.
Oh! So he says, how do you fit into this band of doctors, servants, and children?
I sort of like pat my little notebook that I write everything down in, and just say I keep record of things. It's my job to document what we do.
Just a librarian, then?
Journalist.
A journalist? Would I have read anything of yours?
Maybe back in the village on the mainland.
Hmm.
I write for the local paper when I can.
Very interesting. Well, please make sure that you paint me in a decent light. I fear that the doctor has sort of shadowed my
Well, I
pleasantness and
interviewed your mother earlier, so.
Oh, you did. He looks down the table at her. She smiles for a moment. Took my picture.
I did.
Well, I will need to get a photograph from you of my mother, of course.
Of course, I will send one.
We could maybe
takes a little while for them to be developed, of course, but
we could maybe put it on the china cabinet over there.
Is there anything like special about the cabinet he pointed out?
You look over and no, nothing too special. You can see dishes inside. Obviously some of the dishes were in there and are now being, used. Like you're getting the good china here.
Right. Pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of silver in there, like silver knickknacks or silver salt and pepper shaker type things in there. Certainly not something that you would see in a low end family home in Sweden, let alone maybe a middle class family home. Like it's a clear boast of money.
Is there silver on the table too that's being used?
Yes.
Or is it all just in the cabinet?
No, there's silver on the table being used.
There's silver on the table. Okay. I think I would do this. I guess I would say, so I know that you fish for herring and you deal with whales here a bit as well.
Yes, a whaling vessel occasionally comes in For the oil.
For the oil. Are those the only things that you deal with here? Do you deal with other kinds of fish beyond herring, or things like seaweed? Anything like that?
He pushes back from his chair.
Mm-hmm.
And he sort of ominously begins to walk around the table. He gets to a cabinet beside the china cabinet, a separate cabinet, and he opens the door, and inside there is a lot of booze. Many bottles. And he pulls a bottle out for you and places it on the table. Clearly being the I'm trying to remember the name of it now, the aqua
aquavit or something.
Yeah, aquavit, made of potatoes and herbs and spices. He puts that down. He says, "Now he puts that down on the table in front of you. He's like, feel free to try. We don't make it here, but we sell a great deal of it."
I can imagine.
Mm-hmm. The number of, and his mother even chuckles at that, and he looks to her and he says, "Mother, I mean, we sell a lot of drink, am I right?" And she smiles and nods. She's like, "Every good sailor needs a shot of something to keep him warm at sea."
Is this bottle already open or is it closed?
It's closed.
It has not been opened.
Are we talking about the new bottle of booze?
Yes.
Yes. Give me a vigilance check.
I'm curious if it's a new bottle or it could possibly have been tampered.
Or actually, observation would work also.
I prefer vigilance.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I prefer vigilance. Thank you.
Don't worry about it.
You don't think it's been tampered with? Liesl, if you're wondering the same, you don't think it's been tampered with?
Okay.
It looks like a new bottle. It's got a cork in the top. It has like the metal clampings that go over corks onto bottles to hold it in place.
Mm-hmm.
Everything looks legit.
Is there like anything special about the label or anything like that?
No. In fact, you've maybe seen it on the mainland as well.
Okay. Nothing special.
But he tells you, I can't tell you how much of this we sell. A great deal. I would have to check my books for exact numbers. But sailors, they enjoy their drink. Especially that one mother. What is his name? And she's like,
anybody that
she's
stuck
like,
out about that.
Orvar. And you guys recall that it was,
saw him earlier.
Yeah, it was Orvar that like bellowed at you a warning.
Me about the moon.
He's we've met him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, met is a strong word, but we've encountered him for sure.
There, in passing.
Was he the drunk-looking Hulk Hogan guy?
As Pace is eating, he's like, one of the oldest fishermen in the area.
That's great.
And Zacharias is very, very quick to say, yes, but always drunk. Spouting nonsense.
So,
what kind of nonsense?
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, just he makes things up. I think his drunken mind leads to talks of, all matter of strange things crawling out of the ocean. He's certainly not to be believed.
Is there a particular place we could find him?
Pace again, not even thinking, just spits out. He's like, yeah, Graveyard Island.
Well, that sounds like a nice place. Where's that?
The Zacharias stumbles a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, it's on the edge of the archipelago. It's nothing but
on that
rock and a few trees."
Was it on that map that we have, the original map?
Yes. I can bring that up for you here. Nope, that's
There
record.
must be something of interest there if he spends all of his time on this island.
Yes, he spends all of his time drinking there, I assure you.
So
Great.
I've never,
That's pretty
I've never partaken of the aquavit myself. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Does it tend to give people, does it tend to have hallucinogenic properties, would you say?
He's like, no, nothing like that, nothing like that.
Hmm.
I mean, I suppose if you drink enough of it, and the family laughs as he says that.
I see. But you don't partake yourself.
He's like, no. Well, that's not totally true. He smiles. He says, it makes me. I'm a bit of an angry drunk on that sort of stuff. So, with moderation, of course. But truthfully, I prefer wine, a little bit of beer. The hard spirits don't agree with me.
Well, it sure seems popular around here.
So the map is up. You guys are on Wrecker Island, and Graveyard Isle is where the fisherman they mentioned is.
Okay.
So dinner proceeds awkwardly. He no doubt questions Dana about anything she'd like to divulge of her background. Does Dana say anything?
I just vaguely say that I grew up on a farm.
Okay. He doesn't seem interested in that at all.
Great, that's perfect for me.
Is anyone drinking to excess? Is anyone having a very good time? Is I guess what I'm asking. Does Diedrich at any point have something to eat or drink?
No.
Okay.
He's just standing, like, kind of to the side behind the doctor the whole time, like, hands clasped behind his back, just
all right.
keeping an eye and making sure there's no funny business.
Maybe as some dessert is brought out, the maid looks to Diedrich and says, you don't have to stand there all night, love. I've got some stuff in the back for you if you'd like.
He immediately turns bright red, and he just kind of stutters like, what? Ma'am? Miss, sorry, what?
Under her breath, she's like, well, we common folk don't need to bother them. If you'd like a bite to eat, I've got some in the back for you.
Oh. I appreciate that, but I need to keep an eye on my master.
She looks
Well,
over.
thank you.
She looks over as the doctor is doing something eccentric. What would the doctor maybe be doing? Give me something crazy, right?
They put me on the spot.
Spitting out more wine, or like snorting,
Being obnoxious about
snorting
puffing on his
something, or maybe he's lighting up his pipe, or
Yeah,
Show
all
everybody your tools that you use to pick brains out of noses.
Oh, well, let me pull my bag up. You see these here? I have these, like, I don't know. Yeah, so I pull out some giant. I'm showing off. I'm not paying any
as he's
attention.
doing that, Laura says to Diedrich, he looks quite fine to me.
They call this cocaine. Would anyone else like to try?
Many hands around the table go up.
I'm passing cocaine around the table. There we go.
As the doctor is handing out his magic white powder, Laura motions for you to follow if you want to, Diedrich.
Go.
He has the look of internal conflict on his face right now.
See, the easiest way to do it is you take a dollar bill and you
see.
roll it up.
The doctor's explaining how to cut lines. That's fantastic.
I
Do I
find the
hear
easiest way to do
Laurel
it is
tell
just
him
put
this?
a fingernail
What's
in
that?
it.
Do I hear her tell Diedrich
That's how the
this?
peasants do it.
You see her stop and whispers something to Diedrich, and Diedrich. I think Keisha said Diedrich sort of flushed, and yeah.
I just sort of like look at Diedrich and like Like, go on, go.
I guess at that he'll hesitantly follow, but the whole time he's like looking over his shoulder, like, I hope this doesn't end like last time with the cocaine. It was such a mess.
Not again. The cocaine. So you make your way into the back, and she's already working on the dishes and whatnot from the main course. The kitchen is kept relatively neat, but at the end of the butcher block, there's a plate and a cup, a little bit of wine, not the wine that was on the table though, and there's plenty of food though. And she says, "There you go, love," and then she moves back over and starts working on the dishes again. Work for the doctor, do you?
Yes, I do.
Strange fellow.
So it
Don't worry,
described it,
I can
yes.
write you all a prescription.
She says, "I know all about working for strange people. After all, the Baron."
How did you come under his employ, if you do not mind me asking?
Well, when they opened the inn, this is going back many years now. When they opened the inn, I applied to be a waitress there, part of the wait staff. However, I didn't get that job, but they hired me on as sort of housekeeping. I changed sheets and, boiled water for guests and things like that at the inn. But the godmother was very happy with my work ethic, and it wasn't long before they moved me here to the house, and I've been happily here ever since. I have a room upstairs. Yes.
Alright, he's going to give her a very long and serious serious look and just say, "They treat you well."
Oh, yes. Yes.
Good.
I've managed to put a little bit of money away. And my sister, her husband, lost at sea. I send her a little bit of money each month, too.
Kind of you.
How about you? Any family?
My life before entering the household of which I am employed becomes irrelevant.
Well, have it your way then. How do you like the herring?
Fishy?
I used to love herring. Now it's just a way of life, I suppose.
You have it all the time, I guess
It loses something. She takes some clean dishes that she's got dried off and sort of stacks them up on cover, and you notice that she's putting some of the the serving dishes and that, but she's putting the dishes that everyone ate on in a separate pile, most likely to take back out to their proper place. She's like, "You're looking for the Reverend, I overheard."
Yes.
That music hit right there.
Oh no! Suddenly he's nervous for unexplainable reasons.
She says, and she just confirms everything that you've heard already, that she hasn't seen him in a month. She does tell you though that he did not get along with her master, the Baron.
Was there ever any altercations between them?
No, he up and left one night. The same night Master Paul left, I believe.
What all do you recall specifically from that night? Anything that might not even seem important, just anything at all.
She stops and thinks for a moment. Well, there was a large disturbance during the day between the two men out in the walkway here. And then she goes, I do think there was some kind of a ruckus at night. I didn't think much of it at the time because, the sailors can get a little crazy. But, yeah, there was some kind of a ruckus that night down by the saltery.
anything that may have caused it that you've heard, or?
No. I had you not brought it up, I might not even thought of it, but I just mistook it, I suppose, for just common arguments that break out amongst the sailors.
This happens often?
Oh, yes. The ships that come in are not always friendly to one another. Or there are arguments with my master over the price for the fish.
Particular group that was involved?
She's like, I can't say for sure. I don't really get involved in that sort of thing. You hear some other kind of ridiculous line about snorting in the next room, or...
And that was the time I wrestled an Icelandic blue whale with my bare hands.
Oh no, not that story.
The dog is getting into it too. Like as the doctor gets riled up, so does the dog.
Into the cocaine?
I don't know if the dog gets into the cocaine. Is there still stuff going on? Is there still stuff going under the table?
No.
This is the way it's going. I give Morris a little bit under the...
Okay.
It is the 1800s. You probably thought it was good for the dog too.
Oh god.
Keeps him in high spirits.
She finishes off the conversation by telling you like her poor master is around that fish so much that like if he doesn't use perfume, he always has a funny smell to him. Like he just can't get the stink of the fish off him.
Oh, did wonder about that smell. And he did that for as long as you've known him?
Well, my understanding is that the family were wreckers for a long time. Until the fish came.
Thank you for all of this. Dinner was lovely, by the way.
Oh, thanks so much. She gets up, she takes your empty dishes and puts them into the sink as well. And anything else that you guys want to ask before leaving or do?
Yeah, I will have another question.
Okay.
Now that we're all high on cocaine.
Yeah, everybody's loosened up just a little bit.
Oh no.
So tell me, Baron, are there accidents in the Saltery pretty often, or is it pretty safe?
Okay, Dana, give me a manipulation roll, and I'm gonna give you a +2 because everybody's drunk and high now at the table.
Great. I love that.
Okay, apparently Liesel is not drunk or high at the table.
No.
Okay, fine.
One of us needs to be
Be
sober.
a party pooper. That's fine. Okay.
Cocaine is not a drug; it's a medicine. I succeeded.
There you go. There you go. It's all medicinal. It's all medicinal.
Yes.
Um.
It comes from the ground or whatever.
So when you say that, he's like, "Well, I mean, it's a Saltery. Accidents happen. People,
Of course, yeah.
fingers
of
in the
course.
wrong
But
places. Knives get dropped.
major accidents. Do people get hurt so badly that they lose a lot of blood? I mean, I feel like the minor accidents are common, but
You catch Pace nodding for a moment, and then the Baron's like, "No, nothing like that."
oh,
If you're
Well,
asking
it's
if
good, you
if
must
you're
have-
asking if we've ever lost a worker, no, nothing like that.
I'm just curious. I love a good gruesome tale, after all. So I was hoping you could regale us with something like that.
Well, I wish I had something for you.
Hmm.
I could tell you about a fisherman that got caught up in his nets a few weeks back, but it's all a bit gruesome.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
So you run a very safe Saltery, is what you're saying.
Yes, yes, I do. He has a big grin on his face. He's playing with his mustache a bit. There's a bit of white frosting on it, and yeah. I don't even know if they sniffed it back then, or if they just. Can you take it orally? Yeah.
Yeah. Can you take it orally?
I don't know.
Yes. Probably a little bit of both. Poured some in the
A little
wine.
bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Yeah.
Feeling okay, Dick? Feels a little weird over there.
Has Dick hit the cocaine?
I take the cocaine because it's medicine, but I don't drink because I'm underage.
Okay.
That tracks.
Okay.
Some people say that it makes you talk fast, but I don't think it makes you talk fast at all.
So the night the night winds down. The Baron shows you to the door. You feel like he's maybe had a little extra to drink. Like he's not 100% on balance. Maybe some of you are in a similar condition. Whatever the case is, he opens the door and wishes you all a good night. And the maid has taken the liberty of wrapping up a couple extra pieces of the pie you had for dessert for you to take with you.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, ma'am.
She makes a point of giving them to Diedrich.
Face as red as a tomato, he takes it and just wordlessly leaves.
Okay. All right. So, are we sleeping on the?
The rest of the night off, Diedrich?
No, I'm not the one that's intoxicated. You are. I need to take care of you. I know what happens. How much did you have? How long of a night?
The usual for a gathering.
Half the bag is gone.
You know
No.
You know it helps with my asthma.
Half the bag, he's like, we need to get to the mainland for a resupply run.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, I suffer from the vapors, and it helps me tremendously with that.
The vapors. Oh, I gotta touch the vapors.
Helps with this club foot of mine.
Your gangrene toe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much helps.
So the group wanders back to. Are we sleeping on the boat tonight? Or was the doctor
Yeah,
going
we
to pay
probably
for
should.
in rooms?
Oh, yeah. I'll pay for everyone to stay at the end.
Wow. Okay.
You gotta flex a little bit here.
Okay. So the doctor lays down some serious cash, and Justina makes sure you get rooms. As she's taking you up and showing you to your room, you're on the very top floor of the inn. So it's
Just
like
to flex, I'll get an extra room just for Morris.
okay, it's a 2.5 story, and there's a number of rooms on the upstairs in that half story on the very top. Justina takes you up and gets you all settled, and she inquires. She says, "I overheard some sailors saying that maybe Oscar got hurt today. Is that true?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he messed up.
Very much.
He talked shit and got hit.
He fucked around and he found out
Is
what happened.
is he okay?
Well,
Not
He'll
the
survive.
psychologist, but
nothing a little
He's on
cocaine
bed
won't
rest.
fix.
Thank you, Ryan, for bringing. It's like I said the 18th century, not 1980. It's like
He'll be fine.
I don't know.
Oh,
Cocaine was
Bruce.
in everything in the 18th century.
it was very medicinal. Okay. So everyone drifts off to sleep that night. Some quicker than others.
mm-hmm.
Okay. The dog.
So we still have a full day, and then that night is the.
You have a full day.
new
That
moon.
that evening will be the new moon.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you lay into your beds and everything is going well, you drift off to sleep, and then through the night, each of you begins to be tortured by terrible visions of drowning. As if you suddenly find yourself deep below the surface of the sea, surrounded by the dark depths and monsters. They pull at you. They hold you down. You try to reach the surface, to no avail. And I would like everyone's going to make a fear test.
Oh.
So there's two ways to do this. Let me just get it up so we make sure that we get this correct here. Conflicts and injuries. That's not what I want.
This happens every time I take my medicine.
Every time you take the cocaine, you have these dreams, dude. We've told you.
There's no correlation, though. I'm sure. I bet that's a different issue that needs to be solved with some new medicine.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, I write a paper on this.
So, you have a choice here on this roll. You can choose either your logic or your empathy to succeed this test. So as you wake up in fear,
that feels like an easy.
You can choose your logic or your empathy to pass this.
There's no skill modifier.
Modifiers?
There is no modifiers, no.
Fail.
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 Oh my god.
I hate roll 20 sometimes.
3 fails. Diedrich passed.
Okay.
You really are just Jeeves.
So
does Morris have dreams too?
No, the dog does not get dreams.
Okay.
So you wake up terrified, gasping for air. Everyone's sheets feel damp.
Diedrich, it happened again.
So everyone takes 2 mental conditions, except for Diedrich.
Yikes.
Diedrich just takes 1.
Well, I'm definitely going to be exhausted from changing out all these sheets.
No one
Oh,
should
that's
have
not
any
better.
physical conditions now,
Yeah, it should be mental.
but just mental conditions. That
I'm
just
assuming
got
broken
blocked.
is like broken would be the last one you would collect.
So yeah, broken would be the last one. So fear in Vaesen, there's 4 choices you have that when you suffer from a fear effect like this. You can flee. You have to use all your actions to run from the thing that frightens you. There's no time to pick things up, talk, or help someone. You just choose the nearest and fastest way out of there. You can freeze, where your body refuses to move and you're rendered completely immobile. Faint. Your body goes limp and you quite literally faint into a veil of darkness. Or you can attack the nearest hostile person or creature. Now, attack's not available because there's nothing hostile around you. So you would pick one of those that you'd like your character to suffer, and then you would roll a d6, and that's how many rounds that effect would take place for.
Oh no. Did we do that?
So your choice, whether if you want your character to flee, they run out of the room, maybe yelling and screaming. Maybe they freeze and just it's like a night terror where you can't move in your bed when you wake up. Or you can faint and pass out in your room for those rounds. So is anyone going to do the flee where they're up and screaming, or does everyone just, the morning goes by and no one realizes anybody has had this dream?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm shouting.
Okay, there you go. As long as somebody's doing it.
So you
Morse!
and roll a d6 for me to see, even if you have one there, beside you, Jasmine. Just a d6 to see how many rounds it lasts for. Five rounds. 5 rounds the boy is hysterical for.
You know what? I'm going hysterical too.
Give me how many rounds then, Doctor?
All the cocaine.
Yep.
Die roll. You would think I might have dice beside me, but I don't.
I don't want to make any assumptions.
It won't let me click that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna find a d6. I'll get back to you in a second.
Well, you know what? We're gonna go to our break, but we're going to assume as we go out to break that the Doctor and Dick are like, they wake up. 5. The two of you are right. You guys wake up the inn together as you go running through the upper levels of the inn, maybe all the way downstairs, and maybe out the front door before you get a grip on yourself.
Does the Doctor sleep naked?
I don't know. Does the Doctor sleep naked?
No. I have like a little like nightcap on.
Does Dick sleep naked?
No, Morris and I have matching PJs with like the caps.
Oh, no. Oh my god.
And with that note, we're gonna take our break. We'll be right back. The night has not been particularly restful, and you wake up to the screams and, running of the gang. Well, 2 of the gang. Down and out the front of the inn.
I freeze.
You freeze, so you can't even chase after them. I love it. Okay.
She hears them yelling and is just like pulls her blanket up over her head like, nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So, when the 2 of you that fled come out of your sort of little trance, Justina's there. Is everything okay, Doctor?
Couldn't breathe. Ooh.
You and your son just like tore off through the inn and out the front door. You were screaming like mad people.
Well, the boy's got night terrors. I was chasing him.
He was behind you.
Oh, maybe I over-medicated.
She wipes your nose for you with a cloth. Maybe. Either way, come inside. You'll catch cold out here like this.
I gotta make sure my flap on the back is buttoned up.
Okay.
Okay.
So you get back inside, and everyone gets sort of dressed. Does anyone make note of the screaming terrors of the morning?
Yeah, I think
What
once
caused you to
I
flee
done
like that?
freezing.
It's funny that Diedrich was the only one who didn't have any of the dinner. He was fine.
It was a hallucinogenic effect.
Yeah, he has his assumptions of what happened.
Diedrich did take one condition. He just didn't go, and it would have still, it was enough of a fear effect that you would have had to do something. You maybe fainted, or what? Maybe you don't want to admit that Diedrich could faint, but whatever the case is, I'm going to say that everyone figures out that they've had the same dream, or at least the same type of dream. Drowning.
Have you ever
Sea
had
monsters.
a terror like that before, any of you?
Oh, every night.
Oh, that was a first for me. I'm sorry for you. That sounds terrible. How do you sleep?
I don't. No, I'm kidding. I have not had that dream before.
Oh. Your
That was a
humor is
weird
very dry, Doctor. Has anybody told you that?
There's nothing dry about the Doctor.
No, yeah, I'm pretty soaked right now. A little soggy. So, well, that was lovely. What's the plan today? Maybe get the hell out of here?
Well, I think we'd better go visit Graveyard Island.
Is that close
Go
enough we
find-
can do that in a day and come back?
Yeah, you could be there.
If we need to?
You could get there and back, and that would be your day.
Okay.
A few hours out to Graveyard Island. Whatever time you're going to spend there, and a few hours back.
Okay.
What could go wrong?
We should just make sure that we're here at night, probably. If it's the new moon.
Okay. So you make your way to Graveyard Island. The captain agrees, and Oscar is still looking rough this morning. One of his eyes just looks like a big purple plum. He can't see out of it, and he's walking with a limp, and his one hand is probably fractured, and he's like, he's not going to be doing a whole lot with that hand. So for an hour, you sail.
It's gotta be rough for a priest.
What? I'm not even going there. What? Okay, what do you mean? I'll bite.
Never mind.
Okay.
Move along.
Okay.
I
So,
just wondered if you took a vow of celibacy.
yes, I see where you're going now. I mean, I knew that's where you were going, but
Oh, okay.
So the boat leaves, and you start making your way to the destination of Graveyard Island. The boat, you know, when you're near Wreckers and you round Wreckers Island, everything is fine. And then as you start to sort of cross the open water towards Graveyard Island, as fast as you've ever seen it happen, a storm sort of whips up, and the boat you're on is hit with hard winds and heavy rain quite suddenly. Even the captain exclaims, like, "Where the hell did this come from?" as he struggles to keep the boat on course. Your boat begins to lunge up and down very, very high waves. I need everyone to give me a force test, please.
Oh, the dock's going over. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so for those that failed, which would be Dana, Dick, and Dr. Klaus, you are about to be swept off the deck by a great wave that comes crashing against the boat. So I will give you the opportunity here to push if you would like. If you push, you can re-roll, but it will immediately give you one physical condition.
What does the memento do?
By sort of concentrating on your memento, you can regain a condition. You can heal a condition.
I'll be the first to bite. Oh, damn it. Okay. Go for
Suck it, nerd.
Suck it, nerd.
That's what you get.
Yeah, that's what I get. So I take a physical condition?
So you failed your push, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you do take a physical condition, and you are swept overboard.
Shit.
Doctor, are you gonna
no.
push that roll?
That's serious.
Yeah, I'll also fail again.
No.
And last but not least, Little Dick. Can I call you Little Dick?
I'm gonna try and push.
Okay. Here we go.
I don't think anybody likes the name Little Dick.
Hey.
So Dick, you still take the condition, but you manage to like just grab hold of the railing, and you know.
I feel like he was about to go over, grabs the pant leg, pulls him back on.
Someone grabs him. Someone grabs him. I'm not going to roll for Oscar because I'm going to assume that Oscar is below deck, and the captain manages to stay on board. So, as the two of you are swept over into the ocean, the wave carries you a pretty good distance from the boat, and I'd like each of you to give me an agility test.
Shit.
Boy.
Oh,
We're in it together,
oh.
Doctor. We're
All
in
right.
it together.
God.
I can't swim.
So, for those of you still on the boat, the wave crashes, and a moment later, you're like, you're sputtering water, you're wiping wet hair out of your face, and then you realize, and like, Dick's like clenched on the rail, and then you realize that Dana and the doctor are not there.
Shysta!
You run to the railing to see like where they've gone as the boat is continually being tossed, and you can't see them above the surface of the water.
Shoot.
Is there
Maybe
anything?
some mermaids will save them.
Is there anything you'd like to? Anything on those of you on the boat would like to do? The captain's like, tie yourself off to something. We're in for a rough one.
Jesus.
I don't. I think the only thing I could do is to try and like. Can I see any glimpse of the doctor specifically, or either of them at all while all of this is happening?
Not at the moment. No, they were swept over, and for all intents and purposes, they have not resurfaced.
Okay. I want to, if I'm able to like tie to like a post and like a rope around me, and I want to like, but keep an eye out if I see any of them. I'm like diving.
Okay.
To see if I can.
So you've
John Smith and Pocahontas kind of thing.
You've got enough slack in the rope that you can jump in to try to save someone.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Liesel? What's she doing?
Panicking. I would be like going probably to the railing, obviously, and like tying myself to something as well.
Yes.
And then just like watching the waves to see if anything surfaces or if I hear anything other than like the storm and the boat.
Okay. Dick?
I'm gonna tie myself and the dog.
Well, I was
to
just
the
gonna
boat.
say, as you're about to, you like reach for your little dog, and there's a bark, and he's in a bucket that's been washed over the edge, bobbing, maybe 3 or 4 feet from the side of the boat.
No.
I use my chimney broom and I fucking sweep him up.
Give me an agility check with your chimney broom, and I'm going to give you a +1 dice for using your chimney broom.
Come on, Dick. Now's your chance.
Actually, instead of agility, use force with +1 dice.
I'm picturing him in a bucket, and it's real cute.
It's real cute. There's some water in there. He's all wet, soggy.
Oh no, Dick!
Oh, Dick!
Dick, you reach out for him and you just miss him, and he growls at you like you son of a bitch.
Bite on the edge, bud!
Let's have our swimmers make their agility checks again.
Oh no.
Oh, that's me.
That is you.
I passed.
Okay.
I have an agility of 2. Why you do this to me?
It's because you got a condition penalty, right?
No,
Yeah,
my agility is 2. Oh, is it? I don't know. Oh, yeah, my physique is 3.
Yeah.
I still.
Oh! Doctor! Oh, doctor! Like a porpoise. You.
We're on the German national team, yeah.
Doc, with that.
Why did you take so long to start swimming then?
So, as you reach with the broom, Dick, like the doctor rises out of the water. 2 successes. Would you like to grab the dog's bucket?
Take my dog, or I'll leave you in there.
Yeah, I'll get the bucket.
Okay, so you're there. You manage to cut. You resurface. You grab the bucket and you're at the side of the ship. Diedrich, you're gonna help him out.
Oh yeah, like immediately untie. I'm tying him and the bucket like tightly.
Okay.
Like they're not getting anywhere now.
Dana also surfaces, and Liesel said she was outside the boat too. Does Liesel want to help Dana out?
Yeah, I'll help haul Dana up.
So everyone is pulled back onto the boat, and the next few minutes are very, very dicey as the wind and waves crash against the boat. And then as quickly as that storm hits you, it's gone.
Can I make some kind of like occult check to see if that was natural phenomenon or not?
You don't need to make anything. That was not natural.
Okay.
The
we
way
can, like, sense that.
Yes, the way the storm rose up, the way it just was immediate almost, and then gone. Yeah, there was nothing natural about what just happened there.
The pipe is waterclogged.
Even the captain is like, I've never. He seems absolutely gobsmacked. He's never seen anything like that. He's stunned.
Do we think it was Vaesen?
That would be your only logical explanation.
Yeah, okay. Seems like the Vaesen don't want us.
If you would
continue on
like,
our current path.
you can attempt a learning check, I believe it is. Let me double check. Still getting used to all the skill names. I'm playing way too many games with way too many different skill names.
Yeah.
Yes. You are allowed to make a learning check to see, like, because there's a library back at the castle. You've all looked through the library, and you all know a little bit about Vaesen here and there. So if you'd like, you can make a learning check to attempt to put some pieces together here.
All of us can?
Okay.
Or just Dana?
No, anyone can. Anyone can. Yeah, I think with Dana's conditions, she's in a bad way.
I am. I'm not
Lord.
feeling well.
Yeah? No.
Wow.
You guys are bringing it home for the team. Yeah, so everyone does their best to recall something, anything. Nothing, but no one knows. The captain.
Vaesen, never heard of her.
The captain travels on towards Graveyard Isle, and it's not long before you see it ahead of you. This stark bit of rock that comes above the surface of the water. There are there's very little, like, there's no trees or anything like that on the island. It's mostly just rock and small bushes. And that's where you can see a cabin off to one side of the island as you approach it. You can see a boat dragged up on the shoreline down towards the waterline. And you can see, like, piles of old fish nets and things like that. And there's smoke coming out of the cabin's chimney. So you assume someone is living there.
And we're expecting this to be
That drunk guy.
Yeah,
Orvar.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So the captain steers you in, and there's not a dock or anything. It looks like Orvar just pulls his boat right up onto the. It's just a little fishing boat that can be manned by himself, and there's lots of nets and things like that. Lots of there's a couple other old boats that have seen far better days. As you come ashore, though, Orvar. He makes his way out of his house and starts walking down to greet you. Who are you? What do you want?
We met briefly. I believe your name was Orvar. I'm Dana. You yelled at me about the moon. Do you recall?
Maybe. Maybe not.
We would like to speak with you, if that's okay. May we have a moment of your time?
He's giving everyone a look over.
Good sir, I brought a nice bottle to share with you if you have time.
We also have some cocaine.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
There's probably not much left at this point since I've used it like 3 times.
Yes, I'm gonna say that it's down. Like it has a very. It's sort of the bit of wine at the bottom that maybe is a little, has a little bit of particulate in it, maybe a little sludgy.
He'll probably like that.
He looks at it. Just add a little bit of water. Come on then. And he stumbles, and you can tell he's already been into his drinks a little bit. As he stumbles back up the rocky shoreline to his cabin and invites you in. Inside is obviously a bachelor pad of sorts. Orvar is not much of a housekeeper. He clears some spots for you to sit. A very simple dwelling, but it is warm. As a small fire crackles in the hearth. Takes your wine, sure enough, puts a bit of water in it, shakes it up, and then starts pouring it into cups. Intent on sharing. Dick's like, no.
I'm all right. I'm underage. Oh, thank you.
Underage? If you're strong enough to be in a boat, you're strong enough to drink.
Dodge
I mean,
it,
but thanks.
You can dodge
I
a
love
wrench,
that.
you can dodge a ball.
Thanks, Patches
Sorry, it
O'Houlihan.
was just the way that you said it.
So what brings you to Graveyard Island? I don't get visitors.
That's a good question.
We wanted to ask you some questions, if that's okay.
Well, you've come this far. It's maybe the least I can do. As he drinks the wine, the watered down wine that the doctor has given him.
What can you tell us about the moon?
The moon?
Yes?
Particularly the new moon.
Ah.
Never heard of it. Oh,
You've decided to take my warning, then.
Perhaps, if we could figure out what that warning is saying.
Well, you need to know what you're asking, then. And the moon is just the time. But you need to know the who, the what.
And the where.
Well, every new moon, the herring baron and his family sail out to a outer part of the archipelago,
Yes?
a place called Deep Reef. You won't find it on any maps. It's not there. Now, I don't know what they get up to there, but every new moon, they go there. And it's not too unlikely that someone goes missing around that time as well.
And this happens pretty frequently then.
Well, yes. A new moon every month. Every 28 days or so.
This hasn't aroused any suspicions. They've been doing this for years, apparently.
Many years. And I warned them about that Zacharias and what he is, but no one ever listens to me. No one ever listens to Orvar. He takes a long drink again.
Did Carl Eric listen to you then?
Oh, the preacher. He's no
Yes.
better than the rest of them. His own agendas such. He had a real beef with Zacharias and his family. Rightly so. Murderers. Wreckers. Horrible things in their past. But you've had to have noticed the difference between the Baron and his brothers.
Yes, quite a striking difference, actually.
If I tell you a tale, you might not believe me.
Oh, we'll believe you. We've experienced some rather unsettling things on this island. And at this point, we'll take any information that we can get.
Let's have, as you can try to convince him of that, let's have Dana make an inspiration roll.
No. My conditions are ruining me.
I know. He shakes his head. I don't think you've seen all the things you say you have.
Well, sir, we have almost certainly experienced Vaesen on the way here. Can you say the same?
Do you use the term Vaesen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sick.
He says, well, Zacharias is a sea child. Do you know what that is?
Read
I
about
don't
this
think
in
we
our
do.
library.
From your previous roles? No one knows what a sea child is.
Okay.
He tells you that.
I was hoping for new roles.
Like he spends a lot of time at sea, or is that what the kids are calling themselves these days?
He's like, well, maybe if we could have a little more drink, we could talk about sea children.
We have
I'm
something
out
a
of
little
wine,
stronger
but
than drink.
I'm out of wine, but I do have a bunch of drugs, and if that doesn't work, I have poison. If I give him strong poison, it'll mess him up.
You could kill him
mean-
too.
Getting drunk is just a form
Do you want to offer him what's left of your...
of poison.
No, I was going the other way.
Oh.
Your party medication?
Oh, it's my stash.
You'll be out if you do. You'll be out of wine and
Oh.
you'll be out of party medication.
How about ether? Will you settle for ether?
Yeah, I've tried it.
Not my bag. Fine, I give him the cocaine.
Okay, so you wipe out your last of the supplies.
Oh
That's it.
man.
Adventure's over,
Party
folks.
over. Yeah, party over.
He says, well, every so often, when sailors go to sea and don't make an appropriate offering, they maybe will come to meet a beautiful woman amongst the waves. Or man, I suppose, he says. Smiles, finishes his wine, and goes on to your new drug of choice. He says, anyway, they're never seen again. But occasionally a fisherman will pull his nets in, and there'll be a child tangled in amongst the lines. A sea child who can whisper to the beasts of the water. Some say control even the waves themselves.
That tracks.
And of course, you then think about the smell and things like that.
How's the barnacles getting his chimney? Coming in through the chimney? Going out through the chimney? Dick, what's your expertise?
Did I see mermaid type things in the paintings?
Yes, you did.
It was mermaids.
I knew it was mermaids.
Giant told me about mermaids one time.
I'm sorry, I don't recognize you without your accent.
Sorry, Giant told me about mermaids one time.
Oh, okay.
You just take that information as nothing. I just said I saw a giant.
I couldn't understand your accent.
Sorry, it was a troll. A troll one time told me about mermaids.
You realize that Orvar has passed out.
Oh.
That could very well be true. Dick may have seen a troll.
He's taken whatever medicine the doctor's given him and mixed it with everything else he's had this morning.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to mix that.
And he's done now.
Can I snoop around his place real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, I want to say the whole time that you guys have been talking, Diedrich has been just impulsively cleaning what he can because he just can't not.
So
It's
as
like
far,
going through going through the frat a night after the party and he's picking up balls.
Yeah, he's just like.
there's some food here that you wouldn't dare probably try. It looks very questionable.
Sure.
There's a few old oars he's been working on repairing. They're cracked, and he's trying to rebind them with suet or with a strip of metal or a bit of copper wire tightly bound and twisted around it to keep the paddle together. And then Diedrich, you find a harpoon used for like whaling. It looks used because there's bits of something dried up on it. And it's a little rusted, but it's certainly a harpoon that could be thrown.
What does the something look like? Is it like red? Is it
Yeah,
gooey?
it's some sort of flesh. It's maybe been used on a whale before, and there's a little bit left over on it. Wasn't cleaned, it was just leaned in the corner.
Well, he's gonna clean that for sure.
Spit polish the harpoon. My
He's
God!
like, this is. God, how do people live like this? I can't.
Yeah, so it's it looks a little rough.
You would point this out to everyone in case if.
Check out this harpoon, dude.
Yeah, like, look how dirty this is.
So we have, the way I see it, we have two options. We could go I guess we don't really know where that island they're talking about, do we?
Oh yeah, he explains to you where it is. It's not on any chart. He told you sort of where in the archipelago to find it.
If we left now,
he does.
we could get
He
there.
does. He does tell you it's really easy to spot because it's like everything here is made of granite. So the archipelago is basically just the mountains, like what's left of the mountains here. So these granite tops that poke out above the sea here, and that's what makes up the islands. But he tells you that the rock for what's it called? Deep. I just had it here. Deep Reef Isle, not granite.
So it's the only not granite one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the doctor's onto something though. I think we should try and go there ahead of the family.
Yeah, so we go back to the mainland quick. I get more cocaine.
No.
Then we head to the. Okay. No. The way I see it is we could get there before them.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare, or we could go back to town and confront them. Any ideas?
I think we should meet them on the island.
Yeah. It set up like a trap of some kind.
Yeah, we can like poke around for a minute while we wait for them, and then we can like hide and watch them, and maybe Liesel can take some pictures to incriminate them or something.
You got your shooting iron, Dick?
I got my stealing hands ready.
Oh, okay. I meant, do you have the gun?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't like that answer.
The dog barks at you.
How long is the
The
journey
dog's
over
actually
the-
kind of endeared himself to the doctor a little bit because you saved him.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's like,
And I gave him cocaine at dinner last.
that's right. That's right. Which makes any dog happy.
He needs another fix.
For sure.
I also gave him herring.
Yeah. You gave him food. You saved him from drowning.
He's had a glimpse of the good life now.
You're a great doctor. Absolutely. Orvar snores away in his chair.
And I'm sorry, did he say anything about like, so the sea child, like they do this because somebody hasn't made them an offering, and that's usually the reasoning for it?
Well, I think
no. That like when sailors don't make offerings to the sea, sometimes mermaids come and bother them, or sirens, or whatever you want to call them.
Okay.
And then, upon doing that, they occasionally take a man down to their sea castles, sea caves.
Yeah.
And the man, the sailor, is used for breeding purposes. And rather than leaving the child to live its days out beneath the waves, they deposit them in a fisherman's net, and the fisherman takes them home. No.
We got curious old Greg vibes.
But like what they're doing on they go to the island for, or that's to be, you're not sure.
Well, we're not gonna get any more answers because he's passed out. So
Would
Well.
everyone like to give me another learning check to see what they know?
we would love to.
Because now that you know you're dealing with a sea child or a mermaid, now that may jog your memory a little bit. Oh, look at Dana coming in with one dice and getting it.
Yay! I did it.
And did Liesel get 2?
Yeah, I got 2.
Okay. So now that you've met the herring baron and his family and whatnot, you begin to remember the stories of like these sea children and being caught in fishermen's nets and things. You also know that such sea children never really stop longing for the sea, often growing up to become excellent swimmers or fishermen themselves. Seafarers
Or a
would be.
baron.
What's that?
Said or baron.
Yep. Seafarers would be wise to give mermaids offerings. This is what you know about them as Vaesen. They may repay with acts of favorable winds or huge catches of fish, or punish those who fail to give her what she wants, sending them storms or placing icebergs in their path. Some mermaids have been known to accept human sacrifice. Those who anger mermaids, though, are known to have their ships attacked by giant sea monsters summoned from the deep. And it is said that mermaids can enchant people with their songs.
When we get to the island, make sure you have cotton in your ears.
Yeah. Do we think we need to make an offering on our way to the island? Because we were already attacked by a storm.
Well, it couldn't hurt.
Or was that the Baron sending the storm? Because they have powers too, it sounds like.
I feel like we should just err on the side of caution.
And human sacrifice? Okay, got it.
Yep.
The other thing we need to consider is that, like, we might mess up the local ecosystem if we go messing around with this too much. That's another thing to keep in mind.
That seems like a problem for another day.
I think that's a little late for that, dear.
I mean, not everything has to be a fight.
Liesel, since you bring that up, there was a time where this region of Sweden was very, very poor. And it has really come back in the last 30 years with the arrival of the herring. Hence, calling them the silver of the sea.
But we don't know if that's magical or not, right? Like,
that's fair.
Just because it's a positive change doesn't mean it's a natural change. That's what I'm thinking, at least.
I'm not one for coincidences.
What are the other kinds of offerings that they would accept besides, like, what kind of offerings outside of the human sacrifice? Could it just be like a change of offering?
Like
small dog?
Your cocaine?
The dog is the dog no longer. The dog heard that. You're on the shit list again.
Oh,
no.
Doctor.
You deserve it.
Doctor
Evil.
shit list. Fishermen, give it generally when some sort of sacrifice is given to a Vaesen, it has less to do with what you're giving it to and more to do with the person giving it and it having value.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Okay.
Sacrificing something of value to yourself. That's a common sort of thing amongst all Vaesen, is that sacrifices generally have to be of value to the giver.
And they want to feel your anguish.
Made, like, to the sea, or like.
Yeah, you would pitch it overboard. In this case, you would pitch it overboard for the mermaid, or when encountering a mermaid, you would at that point give over your whatever it is.
Okay. I mean, I have something that I can.
Maybe just walking to the end of the island and chucking it in the water is not going to work, because unless the mermaid is like nearby and sees the act done. Exactly.
Yeah, I guess we'll need more information about what their deal is and how it affects all the people, and if there's a way to, like, change it, maybe.
Yeah, I say we start heading there for now. And if we come across them,
Okay. So you're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna set sail for Deep Reef,
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
and the
Mhm.
intention is to beat the Herring Baron to the island, like to be there before they arrive. Okay. Okay. I think that's a really good place to wrap it for tonight.
Yeah, I think
So you guys board the ship. You tell the captain where you're going. The captain is like, I don't know. There's no island there. And you're like, oh, we're told there is an island there. So you start heading for this island that is not charted, not known of, it would seem.
According to
Follow
this
the
very
way.
reliable drunkard, there is an island.
Yes.
Huh.
He is the oldest fisherman in the area. Like, he has been here the longest.
Well, he's a fisherman missing a harpoon right now.
That's right. Do you take the harpoon?
I believe we took his harpoon.
Okay.
But Diedrich has it, right?
Diedrich
The doctor
is
can't lift that.
the harpoon man.
I hope you know how to use that, Diedrich.
Only one way to find out.
He's a good old whaling boy. Okay, well that's great. Let's wrap there.